All right. Oh, okay. Hold on 1 second. Shalom, Israel.
I got you.
Bear with us just a second. All right. Shalom, Israel. I believe we are live. Yes, we are. All right. Shalom, Israel. And welcome back to class to San Antonio isbhpk. Sword of Truth. So we want to give a shout out to our brothers first and foremost that actually perform and do and exercise themselves in this word. Just to start off on this point, just to exhort those brothers and sisters out there that are striving and fighting for righteousness and continuing in the faith. Somebody give me Ezra chapter 7 real quick. Let me get it real fast for you. Call it on the verse. I want Ezra chapter 7 and
In the Bible. Ezra chapter 7.
Ezra in the Bible, yeah. Ezra chapter 7, start at verse 21. I know we don't have it up here on the screen. Hold that. Let everybody get it. Just want to say shalom at the water for every brother and sisters out there that's fighting, trying to do as much as they can in the scriptures. We know the last days are upon us. But we want to exhort everybody to continue in the faith strong as possible, mighty as possible, relentless and diligent as possible. So we want to say shalom to all those out there that's fighting, our brothers in Houston, New York, Virginia, Guatemala, London, California, Albuquerque, New Mexico. Shalom, and wherever you're from that's fighting and been paying attention to our classes and have been using our classes as some type of anchor for their soul. Let's read this right here from Ezra chapter 7, verse 21.
Ezra
chapter 7, verse 10.
7 verse 10, sir?
Yes, sir. Verse 10.
God. Ezra chapter 7, verse 10.
Now I know this is not the topic, but I want to bring this out just to exhort those brothers that's fighting for this truth, fighting for righteousness. Read this.
Ezra chapter 7 and verse 10. For Ezra had prepared his heart to seek the law of the Most High.
So Ezra took the time to do what?
Seek the law of the Most High.
No. Read it again.
For Ezra had prepared his heart.
That's what he did. He prepared his heart. That means he put the work in. So everybody that's putting this work in, that's trying to reach the Most High and trying to get the Most High's attention, this man put the work in. He said Ezra did what?
Prepared his heart.
So shout out to every brother and sisters out there preparing their heart. Doing what?
To seek the law of the Lord.
That's trying to get understanding and trying to get just some justification from the Most High as being perceived as wanting to be clean, wanting to be righteous. Now we know that the law alone makes nobody righteous because there's a combination of both the law and the faith of Christ. But you still need the law and still need to be justified by the law, and the fact that I'm trying to eliminate and erase all sins as much as possible. Read on.
God. And to do it.
And to what?
And to do it.
So not only to prepare yourself, not only to prepare his heart, but to what? But to search out the scriptures, and then not just read the Bible, but what?
And to do it.
And to perform the Bible. So we want to give a shout out to all those that's doing this. That's preparing their hearts, putting the work in, studying, that's trying to get some understanding through the laws, statutes, and commandments, and doing what they read. Not just reading the Bible, but performing what they read. All right? Go ahead.
And to teach in Israel.
And come back after you do it, you can do what?
Teach in Israel.
You do what?
Teach in Israel.
So you can come back and be a teacher. So shout out, shalom to all those brothers that's taking this same mindset that Ezra had and putting this into performance and action. All right? And coming back and teaching what? Teaching Israel what?
Statutes and judgments.
And now you're qualified to come back and teach Israel statutes and judgments. But you got to put the work in. You got to put the work in, you got to study, and then you got to do it, and then you got to teach it. So for those that's doing that, we want to give a shout out to them brothers and sisters that's actually trying to put this work in practice. All right? So with that, let's go ahead and get started. Let that go. And let's go back to 1 Kings chapter 15, start at verse 14.
Come. 1 Kings chapter 15, verse 14 reads, But the high places were not removed. Nevertheless, Asa's heart was perfect with the Lord all his days.
Now we see that Asa's heart was what?
perfect with the Lord.
His heart was what?
Perfect with the Lord.
All right, go ahead.
All his days.
Go ahead.
And he brought in the things which his father had dedicated, and the things which himself had dedicated, into the house of the Lord, silver and gold and vessels.
So it shows you that this man's work initially, this man's work was pure, and the Most High counted his work as being acceptable, and the Most High granted him favor due to his acceptable work. You know, so we kind of started with this because this situation, I know we've been going through this on the Sabbath class. Let me send one text out real quick. One text out real quick. We've been going over this in the Sabbath class, and hold on 1 second. 1 second. Now we have to break this down real quick.
Read it.
Come. Verse 15. And he brought in the things which his father had dedicated.
So he brought in the things that his father had dedicated to the Father, to the Most High. Read.
And the things which himself had dedicated.
And the things that he also himself dedicated. Read.
Into the house of the Lord.
So his father's dedications and his dedications, their works and their items they dedicated to the Most High, he brought them together into the Most High's house. Read on.
Silver and gold and vessels.
So silver, gold, vessels, is special items for the Most High's service. Read.
Verse 16. And there was war between Asa and Baasha, king of Israel.
But there was war between these two men. There's war between Asa and Baasha. If you catch our previous classes on the Shabbat, we're going into the details of the storyline between them two. All right, read on.
And Baasha, king of Israel, all their days. And Baasha, king of Israel, went up against Judah.
All right, that's it. So we want to kind of just preface this point, showing how initially the Most High accepted the sacrifices of King Asa, right? He accepted it, and it said that the Bible said, and we know the Most High is not a man of lie. The scriptures say that his heart was perfect towards the Lord all his days. But that doesn't mean that this man didn't make mistakes.
Come.
He was given the right sacrifices towards the Most High, but somewhere down the line there were errors involved, and he made mistakes. So let's go to the second scripture we got up, which is 2 Chronicles chapter 16 verse 7, because this situation that we're pulling from these Sabbath classes, you know, I know we take a lot of time to break them down and explain them, but there's so much meat
It's rich.
within these topics that you can't just gloss over these topics, because these topics are filled with lessons, and they're filled with things that we have to examine. You know, we have to examine these things. All right, let's go there. 2 Chronicles chapter 16 verse 7.
2 Chronicles 16 and verse 7. At the time, Hananiah the seer came to Asa, king of Judah, and said unto him, because thou hast relied on the king of Syria.
Now,
He did what? What did he do?
yeah,
Did he rely on the Most High? Or did the scripture say he relied on the king of Syria?
Because thou hast relied on the king of Syria, and not relied on the Lord thy power. Therefore is the host of the king of Syria.
So his reliance and his trust was really in what he could, his physical, tangible dealings and his business acumen. But his confidence was not in the trust of the Father. The Most High would come through. Read that point one more time.
Come. 2 Chronicles 16 and verse 7. And at the time, Hananiah the seer came to Asa, the king of Judah, and said unto him, because thou hast relied on the king of Syria,
You trusted in this man more than you trusted in me. You trusted in this king and his horses and his arrows and his charioteers more than you trusted in my wisdom, my power, and my glory. Read on.
and not relied on the Lord thy power.
And the Most High has been coming through for you, been showing favor, been keeping your security. You kicked me off the curb. You kicked me to the side. You forgot about me.
Mm-hmm.
Read.
Therefore is the host of the king of Syria.
Therefore, this is the consequence of pushing the Most High to the side. Read.
Escaped out of thine hand.
The opportunity you had to conquer this battle and to win this reward, you lost it because you put your trust in this physical principle versus trusting the Most High. So we stop trusting the Most High and we trust physical principle, we lose other victories we could be having. We could be gaining.
And we lean on things that we could see.
Yeah.
Because at no time has any man seen the Most High with their own eyes.
Come.
We'll lean more on what we can see that's tangible than increase our faith by putting our trust in the Most High whom we can't see, because it's easier that way. And we take the easy route. We take the easy route, and then we put the Most High to the side. We bypass the Most High from complete reliance on the Most High, and we look at what we can control and what we can see with our own two eyes. And then we start to deviate. And that deviation is consequential. And it has consequences. And this is how the Most High looks at it. Read.
Verse 8. Were not the Ethiopians and the Lubims a huge host?
He was telling them, listen, look at what you've already done. Look at what you've accomplished. Look at what you've overcome.
In your past.
In your past. Why would you, at this point in time, start to fluctuate in your faith? Why would you now, after all this time, in all your previous battles, in all your conquests, why now start to doubt? Why now start to look at the Most High as if He's not a reliable source that you could depend on for safety? Why would anybody do that? And this is why we have to examine some of these things that we've been going over on the Sabbath, because it's too much to just gloss over and bypass without true examination and understanding. We need to take some time to really look at why men do what they do.
Why do men function a certain way?
Why they function a certain way. Why do women do what they do?
True.
Why do people do what they do? We have to examine this, and that's why we kind of going back to this particular person, just isolating this scenario, because this scenario speaks volumes to a lot of how we operate as men. This speaks volumes to the things that we decide to do and what thoughts we give ourselves to. When initially we start off, overcoming victories, overcoming battles, putting the Most High first, relying on Him, depending on Him, and as a reliable source of power. And then somewhere down the line, we start to push the Most High aside and start trying to figure things out for ourselves.
It reminds me of men's interest into the camp or into Christ. Men start getting knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
There's the I'm on fire phase. There's the teaching everybody I see, everybody I know, we're the Jews. Christ is coming. Then there's the drinking of the book, constant class, constant information. The Bible is music to the ear.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, in time, it starts becoming about day-to-day casual life affairs. And casual life affairs take precedence over that spirituality that there was the pursuit of spirituality, and it goes from the pursuit of spirituality to the pursuit of maintaining this my day-to-day life.
So you're saying I slowed down somewhere.
It sounds very similar what you're going into, dealing with that point of, hey, you know what? How'd you start on fire with Christ? Or how'd you win wars against Ethiopians and you're in the spirit, you're charging to now, you know what, I don't feel like fighting. I'm going to go ahead and put my trust in this king. I can't harness the spirituality to deal with my situations spiritually. You have two choices. I have the spiritual path or I have the physical path. And some way, like you said, men deviating, we go from the spiritual path, and some kind of way we find ourselves backsliding or waking up and just, you know what, let me look for the most convenient physical path possible to maintain my life, because I don't like mustering up that spiritual element in myself.
Galatians 3:1. Let's read that. Somebody else get that. Hold that, because we're coming right back to it. Somebody else get Galatians 3:1.
Galatians.
That's a great point. That's a great point. And that point that Dawiyah just brought out it brings us right to this, because this is not the first time that we can see in biblical history how people turn and deviate from a strong, sound direction that the Most High had them on, where they were successful, where they saw increase and they were being developed. Galatians chapter 3 verse 1. Read that.
Galatians chapter 3 verse 1. Oh, foolish
Shalom,
Galatians.
shalom, Israel, shalom, all the family out there watching. Shalom, Israel, Yashala. The water for watching, and may the Most High continue to strengthen you and your households and your families and your camps. Read.
Galatians chapter 3 verse 1. O foolish Galatians, who hath bewitched you?
They said, who tricked you? Who talked you out of the initial path that you were on that was successful, that was gaining and garnering the Most High's attention? Who pulled you out of that direction? Who pulled you out of that level of faith that you were operating in, that the Most High was pleased with? He said, O foolish Galatians, who had what?
Who hath bewitched you?
Who bewitched you? Who tricked you? Read on.
That ye should not obey the truth.
That you are deviating from the truth. Read on.
Before whose eyes...
It said before, previously, in times past, going back a few months, going back a few years, going back in time. Go ahead.
It says, whose eyes Yahushai hath been evidently set forth.
It says, what got you in this truth to begin with? Was it the fact that you were already perfect? No, that wasn't the case. Was it the fact that you were already righteous? No, that is not the case. Was it the fact that you already had knowledge? Nope. Or was it somebody teaching you something and you were changing based upon what you were hearing? Was it you making? Did you make these changes because you already knew everything in the Bible and nobody could show you anything because you had it all already? No, that's not the case. You were being groomed, and you were being developed, and you became successful and acceptable in the eyes of the Most High because you were following what you heard. Read.
It says, whose eyes Yahushai hath been evidently set forth.
Go ahead.
Crucified among you.
Go ahead.
The only what I learned of you.
He said, but this is what I've perceived only by watching you Galatians. Read on.
Received ye the Spirit.
Did you get into the spirit of serving Christ because you were a master of the law?
No. No. That wasn't my
And you
reason.
spoke perfect Hebrew? And you know you was a Hebrew Israelite? You know you was a child of the Most High power? And you were sober?
No. That wasn't the reason.
Yes, sir.
Well, I didn't really ask anything, but I was thinking something. What does this mean when it says, before whose eyes Jesus Christ has been evidently set forth?
Meaning you were witnesses to the crucifixion of Christ. You knew how Christ died and what he did as far as his sacrifices to purge sin. But people start doing things other than the method that Christ laid down because they don't believe that method is true. So they watched Christ set up the standard. He's the standard. Christ. I see Christ's selflessness. I see his sacrifices. I see his lack of desire to please himself. I see these things, and I see that that's the spirit. It's through the sacrifice of Christ. The sacrifices that I make, these sacrifices I make are in Christ. I'll give you an example. Let's go to. Let me give you a quick example.
I do believe I do understand what you're saying, though. But I'll take the example.
Go to Galatians 5 and 11 real quick.
Galatians chapter 5, verse 11. Whenever you're ready.
Start at verse 10.
Galatians chapter 5, verse 10. I have confidence in you
Paul said, I got confidence in you. Go ahead.
through the Lord,
He says, through who?
the Lord,
Read on.
that ye will be none otherwise minded.
He says that you have no other mind than the mind of who?
Christ.
Christ. He said, I have confidence that you will have no other mind than the mind of Christ. So what is he saying? Who's the standard?
Christ.
Christ is the standard. Whose mind does Paul implore that you possess? Christ, the mind of Christ. That's whose mind he's exalting. Read on.
It says, but he that troubleth you shall bear his judgment.
It said, but any man telling you not to follow Christ, that man is in danger. That man's going to bear his own judgment. That's a dangerous man. The man that's telling you not to follow after Christ. Read on.
Whosoever he be.
Whosoever he is that's telling you that Christ's way, there's alternatives to pleasing the Most High. And not lay down your life like Christ laid down his life. That there's other alternatives to pleasing the Most High in Christ. No. He said that man is in danger, whoever he be. Read on.
And I, brethren, if I yet preach circumcision.
He said, and I, brethren, if I tell you that your circumcision alone is what's going to count you as holy. Not the sacrifices of Christ, but circumcision. Meaning, you just can study the law, and you know the law, and you'll be made righteous in the eyes of the Most High through the law. And not sacrifice yourself like Christ laid down his life. The scriptures say, ye that are strong, bear the infirmities of the weak, and please not yourselves, for even Christ pleased not himself. And he says, the reproaches of them that reproach thee fell on me. What Paul said in that Romans 15 was, now it's my turn to embrace the sacrifices of Christ, like he laid down his life for me. Now it's my turn. Right? Read on.
It says, why do I yet suffer persecution?
He said, if it's about the law, Paul is saying, I was already perfect if it was about the law. Remember, Paul said, I'm a Hebrew of the Hebrews. He said, touching the law, he said, what? Blameless. If it's about the law, I mastered the law already. So he's telling you, it ain't got nothing to do with the law. It's bigger than the law. Can you sacrifice yourself for Christ like he laid down his life for you? He said, if it's about the law, then what?
He said, why do I yet suffer persecution?
He said, what am I doing this for then? I already had the law. Paul said, I'm a Hebrew of the Hebrews. Circumcised on the 8th day. So if it's about the law, then I should already have entrance into the kingdom. If anybody, and I know the law, so I'm done.
I got it, brother.
Is that good or bad?
That's bad, bro.
That's not
He's
good.
being facetious. That's bad, bro.
Okay.
Because some people feel like I've reached a certain point to where I don't have to follow or sacrifice. And this is why he's saying that wasn't the spirit. That's not how the Most High was building you up. Just in the fact that you got your job is just to get the knowledge and know the law. No. The sacrifices must continue. Matter of fact, they must increase. Read on.
Verse 4. Have ye suffered so many things in vain? If it be yet in vain.
He said that's if it be in vain. So the whole point he's saying is it's not in vain. He said all these sacrifices are not in vain because this is a part of being acceptable in the eyes of the Most High. This is part of being approved by the Most High. Knowing how to follow, not just based on how I see things, how I calculate things. My perception. Yes, sir.
So, I mean, I'm going off of what he was saying, like, so, I mean, learn this new stuff, and sometimes you be wanting to be say, like, well, hey, I'm going to go on this straight path, and all the haters and all that, I'm trying to leave that alone, I'm trying to go in between them, and try to duck and dodge them, or you saying you really should go through those things to be tested?
That's exactly what it is. Those are tests.
Mm-hmm.
Those are tests, and when men are put in, and that's why we are in 2 Chronicles. Go back to 2 Chronicles chapter 16. That leads us right back into why we're here in 2 Chronicles. These are tests, and you know what happened when King Asa was tested? What happened?
2 Chronicles.
Pick up where you left off at.
2 Chronicles, chapter 16, in verse 8.
So let's everybody get there. We're in 2 Chronicles chapter 16, verse 8. Read that.
We're not the Ethiopians.
Now he said that's what he's saying. You you've been relying on the Most High the whole time. Now all of a sudden, you want to run up to the king of Syria. You want to run up and get help from him, but it wasn't through the king of Syria that you've gotten where you've gotten.
That's true.
You've been successful relying on the Most High. Why all of a sudden reduce yourself, go backwards to rely on a man that's a king that because he has military, he has an army, and you need his assistance, when the Most High has been your assistance the whole time? Read on.
Were not the Ethiopians and the Lubims a huge host?
He said he's trying to remind them of where he came from. You got to this point trusting the Lord and the information you were receiving.
That's how we got here.
That's how you got here.
Wow.
Not by your decision making, but by relying on the Most High. Read on.
With very, very many chariots and horsemen.
He said, "Look, they were outnumbered. You were outnumbered with the Egyptians and the Ethiopians." Read on.
Yet, because thou didst rely on the Lord.
Because you did what?
Rely on the Lord.
Because you relied on the Most High. Go ahead.
He delivered them into thine hand.
He delivered the Egyptians and the Ethiopians in your hand.
This concept is very close to so-called Judah in America, bro.
Yeah.
Because Judah in America, listen, when you're getting whips, when you're getting beaten, destroyed, you're suffering. I was watching on YouTube just last night. This sister was on, actually today. The sister worked all day, bro. And she wasn't a slave, she was a sharecropper. She worked the whole day for $1, bro. She worked the whole day for $1. But then it cost $2 to make a meal.
Oh, I saw that. She had 14 kids,
I don't know the whole story. I just saw a snippet of it.
black and white.
It was black and white.
Yeah.
But the point is, we got, as far as we got as a nation, just to talk about Judah for now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Off of us having to sit here and suffer as a family, and have to work and have to. You got the rice, I got the beans. We're gonna be together and suffer together and work this out. Keep this household together. Keep the nuclear family going, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's go ahead. We can't read, we can't write, but we can sit here and love each other. We're gonna pray the Most High. We're gonna pray through this. We got through that all the way to the 1960s.
Yeah.
And after that, it's like, you know what, man, we can do this if we just go ahead and these water fountains, change these water fountains up. I get that. And look up, 60s, 70s pop up. And now we just want to let's just join the American dream, man. We're at the point, the Most High got us where we're at because we were struggling together, unifying together, fighting together.
Depending on each other.
But now we're at the point where I can be free from, I'm independent from this man, and the man can go ahead, sit here and party his life away, live his life, and go into the different corporate parts of America and live his life. We completely derailed from our foundation. And now, 2020, where are we at? We're really declining. But the products we got came from us being together, suffering together. I'm pretty sure all the tribes are like that. I'm just saying specifically Judah. It's the same topic.
Judah's notorious for going for self. I'll say that. We're notorious for branching out, becoming independent,
Yeah.
and
Now.
not wanting to stay on the farm that I grew up on and do the same things that my foreparents was doing, and trying to move on to bright lights in big cities.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And try to breathe in the ambiance of whatever the world got to offer me. Judah is notorious for that, bro.
Come.
But you see the other 9.5 tribes stick together a lot longer. Or they go out, they work, they bring the money back home to
They
the
struggle
family.
back home.
They keep their resources.
and they bring
keep
everybody.
their children.
Yeah, they bring everybody together.
They don't deviate so much.
Yeah, but that's us as a people. But this way of thinking has to be examined. And what the Most High is doing is He is testing King Asa, and Asa just showed that he did what? He failed the test. He said, right when you've been successful in all these battles, but you've gotten to a point where you got to this battle, and this battle is kicking your ass now. This battle kicking your butt. You in a battle now that you ain't look too good in. You didn't look good. It's not a good look. Hey, you're not looking fresh and fly in this particular battle.
That's true, right?
You don't look victorious in this one. But what happened to him? But read on.
Come, verse 9. For the eyes of the Lord run to and fro.
It said, because the eyes of the Most High is checking everybody, from king to pauper, from prince to peasant. The Most High's eyes is checking everybody. Officers, leaders, whatever the position may be. Ministers, administrators, whatever your position, the Most High is checking everybody. He's checking everybody to see something. Read.
For the eyes of the Lord run to and fro throughout the whole earth.
Go ahead.
To show himself strong.
It says to do what?
To show himself strong.
To reveal himself strong. Go ahead.
In the behalf of them whose heart is perfect toward him.
The Most High said, I'm looking for certain people to expose myself to and reap, who can reap the benefits of my presence. There are certain people that I'm looking to existing who get the benefits of my presence. I'm trying to give that to them. But to those that have the what?
Whose heart is perfect toward him.
Whose heart is what?
Perfect toward him.
Go ahead.
Herein thou hast done foolishly.
He said, and for this reason, this is what the prophet told him. He said, for this reason, Asa, you've done what?
Foolish.
What'd you do wrong? Go ahead.
Therefore, from henceforth, thou shalt have wars.
He said you did a bad mistake, and from this point forward, you're going to have wars. Why is that?
Because he ran from the battle, so the Most High made him stay in the battle.
Yeah. He pulled himself out of the battle, and for that reason, he's going to have constant battles.
Yeah. Wow.
And that's what you mean, like when I'm saying I'm trying to stay out of crap, and you're gonna get exactly what you're trying to get away from.
Well, if I'm trying to stay out of crap my way, and I'm not trying to do it the Most High's way. If I can, there's nothing wrong with staying out of crap. You're supposed to stay out of crap.
Mm-hmm.
But who are you depending on? Are you putting it on your strength or the Most High?
Mm.
You got what's regulating you in that process of staying out of crap? Is your mind the compass, or is the Most High the compass? Am I using the Most High's wisdom as why I'm not doing what I'm doing, or why am I doing what I'm doing? Is the Most High my azimuth? Is He's the one that I'm getting my coordinates from, my caution from? Am I getting it from Him, or am I just creating my own boundaries?
What's that word you use right now?
Azimuth.
How you spell
ASMATH.
it?
Get the definition of that real quick so you understand what it is.
Is that part off of the compass?
ASM.
Mm-hmm. ATH. Or METH. So it's okay to stay out of trouble. It's okay to kind of isolate yourself from danger. There's nothing wrong with that. You got it?
ASMETH?
Yeah.
Yeah, azimuth, right?
Yeah, read that.
Yeah. Azimuth, compass, is a nautical instrument used to measure the magnetic azimuth, the angle of the arc or the horizon between the direction of the sun or some other celestial object and magnetic north.
So
and the magnetic north.
Basically what you're doing is you're triangulating your coordinate, your direction. You're using one firm object and another object to decide through mathematical equation where you are in time. So I'm using what I see in this direction
To anchor
my coordinates, so I can triangulate my coordinates, and so I know exactly where I'm at and which way I'm going. Am I facing north? Am I facing south? So it's a way to triangulate your coordinates, so you can figure out where you are. So am I using the Most High for that, or am I using my own judgment for that? So we run into the problem with Asa, is the fact that he initially was relying on the Most High to keep himself out of danger, to keep himself from harm. And then he converted leaning on the Most High and relying on Him to doing things based upon how his calculations. I'm going to sell all the temple vessels that are in the temple to buy myself some safety. And that was a mistake. That's why he said what? At the end of verse 9.
Because you would have thought he was trying to give the Most High an offering. But it
Yeah.
wasn't that. He was
Yeah.
he was taking away the Most High's offerings to buy him some quote unquote peace.
Yep. Read that.
The foolishly part.
Mm-hmm. That was
Come.
done foolishly.
Herein thou hast done foolishly. Therefore, from henceforth, thou shalt have wars.
And this is the Most High said from this point forward, you're gonna have wars, man. You're gonna have battles. You made a bad decision. Your heart wasn't perfect towards me. And so if I can keep the Most High appeased, and I can keep the Most High's pleasure and be acceptable to Him, then I don't have to worry about the Most High having to inflict danger upon me. Psalms 32:2 says what? Somebody read that. Psalms 32:2.
Psalm 32 and verse 2.
Somebody else get Ecclesiastes chapter 31 verse 22.
Psalms 32 and verse 2. Blessed is the man unto whom the Lord imputeth not iniquity.
It said, blessed is the man whom the Lord imputed not what?
Iniquity.
The Most High said, man, this man don't make bad decisions. When I try this man and test this man, he doesn't fail in his decision making. Read on.
And in whose spirit there is no guile.
They says, in whose spirit there's no what?
Guile.
Now that word here is important. Get the definition of guile. It's real important. It's not like the New Testament guile. It's a different understanding from the New Testament guile. The Old Testament guile is a little different. He said, in whose spirit there's no what?
Guile.
There's no guile, meaning what?
Guile, craft, cunning.
Mm-mm.
Not that one.
Mm-mm.
The deceit one, no.
Mm-mm. Old Testament.
Guile. Slackness.
It's what?
Slackness.
It's slackness. It's not just crafty cunning, meaning what? I drew back. I was
slacking.
When somebody's slacking, what does that mean?
They half-assed.
They half-assed and what else?
Lazy.
Lazy?
Not doing enough.
They're not doing enough. They're withdrawing themselves. They're not giving their whole spirit.
Or slacker in military term means ones that escape their military duties.
I'm running from duties, my obligations. I'm not embracing my obligations. I'm avoiding my obligations. I'm withdrawing myself from my obligations.
That's what the king did.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I'm also slackness. What else does it mean?
A letting down or relaxing of the hand.
It says a letting down
It's crazy.
or the relaxing of the what?
The hand.
So one mistake that people do, he said, blessed is the man in whom the Most High imputed not iniquity, and whose heart there is no what? There's no guile, right? So blessed is the man that doesn't slow down what?
His face.
What's the definition again?
It says letting down or relaxing of the hand.
Blessed is the man that doesn't take his foot off the gas.
Right.
Blessed is the man that don't start slowing down, start relaxing his hands. And that definition also means to be idle.
Mm-hmm.
That man grows idle. Meaning, I grow non-respondent. I don't respond well. Why is that? That's not the way you're supposed to be. In Ecclesiastes 31 and 22, it says what? Who got that?
Ecclesiasticus chapter 31 and verse 22.
Read that.
My son, hear me,
He said, my son, hear me. Read.
and despise me not.
He said, don't despise me. How does the Most High know you starting to despise him?
Slacking.
When you start slacking. When you start slacking in your work, the Most High knows that your thought process is starting to change towards him. When you start to slow down and become idle, and you don't want to embrace what the Most High put in front of you, and you fail to embrace it, then you're showing the Most High that I'm doing what?
Your thinking is changing.
My thinking is changing.
About him.
I'm
About something.
who am I looking at in a negative way?
The Most High.
The Most High, man. I'm looking at the Most High negative. Read that again.
Con. Ecclesiasticus chapter 31 and verse 22. My son, hear me,
Hear me, what?
and despise me not.
And don't start changing the way you look at me. Read on.
And at the last thou shalt find as I told thee.
It said, and you'll be victorious. You'll overcome your circumstances. You'll get over whatever obstacles in front of you. Read on.
In all thy works.
But there's something that you got to do. He says, in all thy works, you got to do what?
Be quick.
No, be idle.
Be quick.
No, slow down.
Be quick.
No, withdraw yourself.
Be quick.
Go for self.
Be quick.
Isolate yourself.
Be quick.
Find some leisure.
Be quick.
Find distraction.
Be quick.
Entertain yourself.
Be quick.
So when a person starts to change their perspective, they start to slow down. That's because they're growing negative to the Lord. He said, but if you do what I'm telling you to do, you'll never have a problem. And if you do, if all your ways you become what? Be quick. You know what? You know how you know when men, it's easy to see. When it comes to doing the work of the Most High, you see men with a half-ass effort. But when it comes to doing what they want to do,
Personal pleasure.
personal pursuits,
Yeah, it's all the way up there.
oh man, they enthusiasm is through the roof.
Yeah.
Man, they're passionate about sealing the deals that they want to commit to, and that they're attracted to. Man, they all the way in. They're all the way live. They're amped up. You can't. They're unstoppable. This almost like, damn, brother, where you get this energy from? Where you get this excitement from? Where'd you get this motivation from? You didn't have that a couple of hours ago. It's almost like when brothers are doing the work of the Most High, I'm at about a 50% level. But when I clock out though, when that bell ring and that whistle blow, doo, doo, like in the 30s when they blow the company whistle.
True.
I'm out, bro. I'm running. I'm gone. I gotta do me. I'm all 100% gears. Gears are running smooth. I got 1,000% effort and all energy and all strength to perform what I want. But when I do the work of the Most High, I'm at about a 50%. Maybe 60, maybe 80, depending on who's watching me. Depending on who's watching me, I do about 80. But when I'm by myself, when I'm solo, about 50%. Yes, sir.
The same thing in high school, man. 8th period, you hear them rings. You sleep in class. You waiting for the teacher to be finished with their lesson. As soon as that ring,
man, you run it, bro.
Get them out of here.
You run it, bro. You run into your locker. You run into the gym. You run into the bus. You run to get out of there. You're running for something.
You might see Shorty in the hallway.
You running for that too. But the whole thing is, you got energy to do what you want to do.
Yeah.
You got all power to do what you want to do. But this is how the Most High knows that something in your thought process is not right. There's something's not right about how you look at the Most High. There's something twisted about how your perspective of the Most High. He said, in all thy ways be what?
Be quick.
Be what?
Be quick.
Be quick in what?
So shall there no sickness come unto thee.
And the Most High won't have to come back and smash you for something. The Most High won't have to come back and inflict you with something. The Most High won't have to come back and punish you to get your attention. Because that's what the sickness is for. The sickness is to let you know that you're in violation of the Most High. We know that from Ecclesiastes 38. Read that real quick. Ecclesiastes 38 and 16.
Come on. Ecclesiastes chapter 38 and verse 16.
Verse 15.
Verse 15. He that sinneth before his maker.
They said the man that's out of pocket from the Most High. Go ahead.
Let him fall into the hand of the physician.
The man that's sinning, they said, let that man fall into the hand of who?
The physician.
Let that man fall into the hand of the physician. Why is the Most High allowing that man to fall into the hands of the physician?
Because he's the one that's going to direct him in the right path.
Because the Most High is showing you that I'm forced to have to see a physician because somewhere I'm disordered about my obedience to the Most High. I'm not following him the way I'm supposed to.
Ain't a physician the same as a watcher?
Yeah, it is. But if I'm sinning in front of the Most High is going to cause something to happen to me to where I have to go see a physician
to humble me.
So the sickness is there as evidence that I'm out of pocket with the Most High.
Okay.
That's why it says, "In all thy ways be quick," and it says, "And there shall be no what?
No sickness.
No sickness that come upon you. If you keep the right perspective to the Most High, then the Most High will keep sickness off your back. He'll keep the doctor visits off your back. He'll keep the hospital off your back. He'll keep pain and suffering off your back. But the reason why I have to go see these doctors is because my perspective with the Most High is off. But when it's time to do what I'm supposed to do for the Most High, there's some idleness involved. There's something wrong with my efforts.
Exactly.
And this is evident to the Most High. Can see this with men. So, we was in Ecclesiastes 31 and 22, right?
Come.
Right? Now, go back to where we was at, Elisha in 2 Chronicles 16, verse 9 one more time.
2 Chronicles 16 and verse 9. There you go.
Yep. Read that. No, read that. Read that.
With the eyes of the Lord.
No, read verse 8 one more time. And then somebody else gets Psalms 123.
Verse 8.
Read verse 8.
Were not the Ethiopians and the Lubims a huge host?
He said what?
Were not the Ethiopians and Lubims a huge host?
He's telling King Asa, was not the Ethiopians and the Lubims a huge host? Weren't they strong? Read on.
With very many chariots.
It says, didn't they have a lot of chariots? Go ahead.
And horsemen.
And didn't they have a lot of horsemen? Read on.
Yet, because thou didst rely on the Lord.
He said, but in that particular battle, you put your strength in who?
The Lord.
Read on.
He delivered them into thine hand.
He delivered them into your hands. That's what you're supposed to do. When you're in a situation where the Most High is putting your faith to the test, He's putting your understanding to the test, He's examining you, what you're made of, to the test. He wants to see who you're going to rely on. That's why David said this. Read this.
Psalms 123, verse 1. Unto thee lift I up mine eyes.
That's why David said, to who does he lift up his eyes?
The Most High.
David said, to the Most High I lift up mine eyes. I'm not waiting on trying to buy some protection.
Yeah.
I'm going to Smith and Wesson.
Yeah.
I go to Sig Sauer.
Yeah.
That's who I go to. I go to Taurus. I go to Derringer.
Yeah.
I go to Mossberg.
Just gonna look out. Mossberg got my
Mossberg
back.
got me, man. They've been having my back since 1827.
1827.
Yeah, I don't know, but I go to things I can see.
Come on.
I stopped trusting the Most High. But King David said what?
He said, unto thee I lift up mine eyes.
He said, man, unto thee. I always lift up mine eyes to the Most High. Whenever I'm in a situation. Read on.
O thou that dwellest in the heavens.
It said, because I know where you live at. You live in the heavens. Read on.
Behold, as the eyes of servants.
He says, this is how connected I am to the Most High. He says, as the eye of a servant, a butler, a waiter. Go ahead.
Look unto the hand of their master.
I'm looking for my master for instruction. I'm tied to the Most High like a servant is to his master. Read on.
And as the eyes of a maiden unto the hand.
And like a wife is waiting on instruction from her husband, I'm attached to the Most High the same way. Read on.
Unto the hand of her mistress, so our eyes wait upon the Lord, our power.
It says, so our eyes wait on the Lord, our power. Read on.
Until that he have mercy upon us.
Until the Most High changes my situation. I wait for the Most High to intervene and change my circumstance. But until that time, I wait. And I wait with quickness. And I do my work with speed. And I don't alter my perspective.
And don't entertain slackness.
And I don't entertain slackness and become idle and start slowing my hands down from labor. See, you know when brothers are giving piss poor effort, or when a wife is giving piss poor effort. They give half-ass effort. Half-ass effort is a sign that somebody's growing negative in their perspective. Their perspective towards the Most High is changing. And that David, his mind never changed. He didn't alter his judgment when he hit a wall. He kept his mind clean. Let that go and go back to where you were at in verse 9.
2 Chronicles 16 and verse 9. For the eyes of the Lord run to and fro.
It said, because the Most High, he said his eyes are running where?
To and fro.
His eyes are running to and fro. Read on.
Throughout the whole earth.
Throughout the what?
The whole earth.
That means it's you also. That includes you. YouTube,
I'm not exempt.
Zoom, whoever's watching, listening, that includes us in the classroom. The Most High is watching all of it. Everybody's being observed. Everybody's being watched by the Most High. And if you think you're not, then you don't know the Most High. If you don't know that the Most High is checking out your work ethic and how you view Him, then you got another thing coming. Then you might as well go ahead and get some insurance, because you will be seeing the physician. Something is going to happen, because your thought process is going to cause you to have to be sick. That's why I said, be thou quick. In all things be thou quick, and no sickness shall come upon thee. You better change your pace. And change your pace and how you operate with the Most High. You can do the work of the Lord again. Lord's a burden, the burden of the Lord. Woe is me, the burden of the Lord. Man, you think the Most High want to hear that?
No.
The burden of the Lord, the burden of the Lord. Did the Most High want to hear that?
No. Instead of the light yoke.
It's supposed to be light. But you know how the Most High know that you're changing your perspective towards Him? You start to look negative, because your intensity is starting to gradually decline. It's not that important. Things that was important before, not important anymore. Things that you cared about, you don't really care about anymore. Things that you try to make sure that you did with all your effort, 100% effort, you give 50 and you think that's good enough. Who was the first person to do that in biblical history? Cain. Cain was the first person to give the Most High what he wanted, because he was too busy trying to extract what he wanted out of the ground.
That's why that was his obsession.
That was his
His
passion.
obsession was extracting what he found valuable for his personal benefit.
It was 90% him, 10% Most High. And he was wondering why the Most High had him working in vain. And the Most High wasn't accepting his offering. Yes, sir.
Well, it's obvious that God knows that you have a job. It's obvious that he knew that King Asa had a war that he had to do to prepare for. So, is it safe to say that you should be intermingling God and your business together?
Yes, I would say this, depending on what you're doing. Or when you say God and your business, God is your business.
Yeah. Your dreams, your aspirations, putting him in the mix.
If your dreams and aspirations, what are they based on?
Helping other people.
If that's what it's based on, then yeah, I would say so. If it's purely about charity, it should be about charity. As a matter of fact, it should be about giving. That's what everything should be about, and we'll get to that point too. Matter of fact, if we can finish this class, we're going to touch that particular point. No, I like what you're saying. Keep that in your mind, because it's going to answer it. But just keep that in what you just asked in your mind. But we're contemplating what is going on with King Asa. That what is happening with this man?
He's the warrior king, defeating the Ethiopians, praising the Lord, serving the Most High. Snapshot. Time period goes by. Hey, I need to pay King Asa the Most High's gifts, my father's gifts, my personal gifts. Here you go, Asa. Get these other guys off me. I'm not really. It's almost like he's two different men.
Yeah. You know. Yes, sir.
It's kind of like we're in the wilderness and we got manna one day, and the next day we're wondering why we didn't get, or we're wondering if we get some water. If we can get water or leeks or fish.
Right.
It was the next faith battle. How can I see? You know, I just got this spiritual blessing the day before. I can't see how it's going to work out this time.
Right. Meaning, I got into a situation as a circumstance, and I don't have any answers for the solution. I don't know how I'm going to resolve this situation, or how this is going to work in my favor. But the Most High is checking to see what?
Your faith.
I'm checking to see what he said in verse 9. Read that one more time.
2 Chronicles.
He said the Most High's eyes run to and fro.
16 and 9. For the eyes of the Lord run to and fro throughout the whole earth to show himself strong in the behalf of them whose heart is perfect.
It says, on the behalf of them whose heart is what?
Perfect.
It's what? Perfect. Go ahead.
Toward him.
Somebody else get Acts chapter 11 and verse 23. So we gotta let's dive into why the Most High treated Asa the way he treated him and said what he said. Had the prophet speak to him in that fashion. Let's dissect a little bit of why the Most High told Asa what he told him. Let's go to Acts chapter 11 verse 23. Somebody read that.
Come. Acts chapter 11 and verse 23 reads, Who, when he came and had seen the grace of the Most High,
Go ahead.
was glad.
So this is Barnabas, I believe. Go ahead.
Come. Was glad and exhorted.
They say he was glad and exhorted what?
Them all.
They say he exhorted them all. Read on.
That with purpose of heart.
Hold on. It says that with what?
Purpose of heart.
It said that with purpose of heart. Go ahead.
They would cleave unto the Most High.
It says that with purpose of heart they would cleave unto the Most High. Now, this has a lot of meaning. Somebody give me the definition of this word purpose in the Greek. It says that he exhorted them all that with purpose of heart that they did what?
They would cleave unto the Most
He
High.
said, man, I beg y'all that with purpose of heart you cleave to the Most High. You stick to the Most High at all times. He said, I beg you. I beg you. What does it mean?
With purpose.
It said with purpose. What else?
A setting forth of a thing.
He says you're putting something in front of the of yourself. You're putting something out in the open. Read on.
Placing of it in view.
He says you're placing of it in what? In view. Right? So what he's saying is, I beg you that you constantly show the Most High what your intention is. That you put forth your intention in front of the Most High. Let the Most High see your intention. And that's not the only definition of this word. What else you got?
The showbread.
It says the what?
The showbread.
Exactly. Now, why is this important? It's not like they don't know Hebrew. It's like they don't know Greek. Why are they using these words? Then there's something about that showbread that he's alluding to. Go to Exodus chapter 25 and read verse 30. Somebody else get Exodus chapter 4 verse 22. Read Exodus chapter 4 verse 22 if somebody got it.
Exodus chapter 4 verse 22. Ready?
Yep.
And thou shalt say unto Pharaoh, Thus saith the Lord.
40. Is that 40 verse 22?
No, I was 4.
40. 40. Sorry if I said 4. 40 and 22. And somebody else get
40.
Exodus 25 and 30. Read that.
Exodus 40 and 22. And he put the table in the tent of the congregation.
And he put the table in the tent of the congregation. Read on.
Upon the side of the tabernacle northward.
He said he put it on the side of the tabernacle northward, facing what? Go ahead.
Without the veil.
Go ahead.
And he set the bread in order upon it before the Lord.
And he did what?
And he set the bread.
Where does the bread? Where does the bread go?
In front. Up front.
Before the Lord.
The bread, the showbread, always goes in front of who?
The Lord.
So what does that showbread represent?
Yourself.
Your intentions, man. Your intentions are always supposed to be in front of the Lord. The reasons why you do what you do is always supposed to be exposed in front of the Most High. That's why I don't have no veil. That's why I don't got no covering. That's why that showbread is out in the open. Because the Most High want to see your heart at all times. Verse 23.
Exodus 40 and 23. And he set the bread in order upon it before the Lord, as the Lord had commanded Moses.
As the Lord had commanded Moses. Why? Because the Most High want to see something. It ain't about putting no damn bread in front of the Lord. The Most High don't eat bread anyway. The Most High said 1,000 cattle upon 1,000 hills of mine. He said if I was hungry, I wouldn't even tell you anyway. So what's the bread for? The bread is only symbolic. The showbread represents your intentions. The showbread represents your heart. See, a lot of people don't understand that. Your heart is supposed to be exposed to the Most High at all times. And the Most High knows it when your efforts slow down. And He knows your heart ain't right. That's what the Most High is combing through the earth, looking at the hearts of men. But He's looking at the intentions of men. 25 and 30.
Exodus 25 and verse 30. And thou shalt set upon the table showbread before me always.
Go ahead. He said, showbread before me how often?
Always.
Is it about the damn bread? It's not about no damn bread. The Most High, I want to always see your mind. He's always checking your thoughts at all times. He's reading your mind at all times. That's what that showbread in front of the Most High. That's you exposing yourself, the way you think, to the Most High. That's that purpose of heart. That's why Barnabas said, I plead with you, I beseech you, I beg you, that you always put what you're trying to do, what your intention is, in front of the Most High in plain view, as to be seen by the Most High as being pure. The Most High know when men's efforts are pure and when they're not. The Most High checks the temperature of men's minds daily. That's why He said it always go before Him. Now go back to and find out where we was at in Chronicles with that understanding. Somebody else give me Ecclesiastes 27:5. Go back to that with that understanding of Ecclesiastes. 2 Chronicles 16 and verse 9, and read Ecclesiastes 27:5.
So 2 Chronicles 16 and verse 9.
No, read verse 9 and then we're going to come back 27:5.
For the eyes of the Lord.
It said for the eyes of the Lord, what?
Run to and fro.
Yeah, because He always watching your showbread. He watching your showbread. Your bread is always on display. Your heart is always on display. Go ahead.
Throughout the whole earth.
Go ahead.
To show Himself strong.
To show Himself strong. Read on.
In the behalf of them.
Go ahead.
Whose heart is perfect toward Him.
Yeah, you know why? They put their intentions are pure.
Yeah. Beyond themselves.
Beyond themselves.
Because the scripture always talks about man's unclean.
Yeah.
So if man is unclean, then my intentions cannot be in man. And we are men. Right?
It can't be on pleasing man.
Exactly. So I can't focus on, and this is about me, this is about my natural nature, it's about my pursuits, my endeavors, what I care about, my intentions, my will. We're polluted by chasing our own will.
Right.
And we're exposed before the Most High when we go for our own will.
The Most High sees it all the time.
Your situation.
And when I go to with my own will, I show the Most High that I don't trust Him.
That's why the Most High set up this guy, right? Basha, right?
No, it was Asa.
Asa.
Mm-hmm.
He set Asa up. He set Asa up in a scenario where, hey, here comes that cyclical battle a second time.
Yep.
Because you had to fight the first time. You had no other choice but the Most High. Okay, I'll give you that one. But when you serve the Most High, when you have a choice. At first, you didn't have a choice. Yeah, I need the Most High. I need to go to the Father to win this war. Time goes by. Yahweh Shem Shai. I love the Most High. I love the Lord. I'm going to serve the Most High. I'm going to give my spirit. And then situations and the battles decline. And you're in a condition of safety. Now, do you still maintain that spirituality? Do you still maintain that urgency? Do you still maintain those works? Well, the Most High will see. Because here come this other army out.
Yep.
Here comes another battle. Here comes more problems. And now when you repeat the righteous works from before, you know what? I got a choice. All I got to do is just get some of these silver and gold items up that my father dedicated, my own stuff. I can buy more out of this battle. I can skip this.
Yep.
Whatever, bro. I have an option. You know what that exposes? My personal pursuit.
That's what the Most High wants to know. The Most High always wants to know. He wants to know, what do you serve more? Who do you serve more? And why? Because Ecclesiastes 27:5 says what?
Ecclesiastes 27 and verse 5.
Somebody go back to Exodus 25 and 30. We're going to bring something out of that too. We just read it. We're going to bring some more out of it. Read that.
Ecclesiastes 27 and verse 5. The furnace proveth the potter's vessel.
He said, just like the furnace, the heat, the heat that's inside the furnace, it puts the quality of the vessel to the test. You know if you made something solid, if it can withstand the heat. They say if you can't stand the heat, get out the kitchen. So if the furnace cracks, it wasn't tempered properly. Maybe it had too much water in it. Maybe it cooled too fast. Just wasn't solid enough, wasn't tempered enough to withstand that heat. He said, but the furnace tried the what?
The potter's vessel.
Read on.
So the trial of man.
It says, so the battle also, the trial, is where the war is. The trial is where you're being put to the test. The Most High always tests a man where? In his what?
Is in his reasoning.
It is his reasoning.
Which is what? Another word for what? What is reasoning?
I like reasoning. Encyclopedia Britannica. A statement of fact that explains why something is the way it is, why someone does, thinks, or says something, or why someone behaves a certain way. How else would the Most High know the inside of you? So what the Most High lays the examination down in front of you. So he wants to test the core of you. So the Most High puts certain situations in front of you to examine your what? Why you do what you do. Why do you behave a certain way? Why do you possess certain habits? Why do you think certain ways? Why do you act the way you do? The Most High wants to know the judgments. Another definition.
And reasoning starts in your head, right?
The reason it is in the head. The trial of a man is where? Inside of here. So how is the Most High going to crack that open to get some understanding of you as a man? Do you really believe in him or not? Do you really trust him or not? Well, the Most High is combing the earth, putting men to the test to identify their level of belief. Another definition of reason. It says, this is dictionary.com. No, let me get this one. I like this one right here. Let's get the Cambridge definition. It says the cause of an event or situation or something that provides an excuse or explanation. See, the Most High want to see what your excuses are. What are your excuses? Or if you made an unknown move, the Most High wants an explanation. Why did you make that unknown move?
I just did it. That's what
Yeah, that's what
I always say. Brothers say, I just did it.
Yeah.
No one just does anything.
No, man. The Most High know that nobody
And
nobody
he knows
does just anything.
regardless, even if you don't know, right?
Yeah, well,
we know.
He's gonna. The situation is gonna determine why you do what you do.
I mean, because I think I probably did some shit. I really don't know why I did it, but he knew.
The Most High knows.
Maybe something
He
deep
knows.
down in the back of a closet, but yeah.
You know, you have to counsel. You have to counsel and communicate to get more to be asked certain questions to get to that thought process. If you don't know,
Okay.
that's the purpose of counsel.
Yep. That's why in Ecclesiastes 18 and 20 it says what?
Ecclesiastes 18 and verse 20. Before judgment, examine thyself.
It said before you make a move, you're supposed to do what?
Ex-
Or am I doing this because I'm doubting? Am I making this move out of doubt? Am I making this move out of fear?
Desperation.
Desperation? Am I making this move out of lust? Is my lust in charge? Yes, sir.
I got a scripture with that.
Okay. So let's finish reading the scripture first.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Before judgment,
It said before judgment. You said what?
examine thyself.
It said examine thyself. You're supposed to be testing your reason before the Most High does, because it's going to be revealed to the Most High anyway. So you got to be analyzing what's ruling this decision that I'm making. Is it my lust? Is it fear? Is it doubt? Is it anger? Is it hate? Is it a lust of the flesh? Or is this a fruit of the Spirit motivate me to think the way I'm thinking?
What's the reason?
What's the reason? What is the reason? You're supposed to be asking yourself that, because the Most High is going to find it out anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
That's why I said examine thyself. Read on.
And in the day of visitation,
And in the day of visitation, when the Most High comes back, Christ comes back, read,
thou shalt find mercy.
you shall get what?
Mercy.
Man, if you go ahead and start examining your thoughts and rooting out the weakness that's in it, he said the Most High will give you mercy. But you just can't, when Christ comes back, you just can't be at a loss. Like, I don't know why I did what I did. He said, thou wicked and slothful servant. Why didn't I take thy talent to the exchangers? So that I could have mine back with usury. He said, because I knew that thou was a hard man, reaping what thou sowest not. Meaning what? I knew that you expected more out of me, and I was afraid. Oh, so you was afraid. Yeah. So you buried my talent in the dirt, and you didn't do nothing with it out of fear? Is that gonna be the excuse that you give that's supposed to be justified when Christ returns? I was afraid. Is that a justifiable excuse? And Christ's supposed to accept that. I was afraid. Oh, okay. Is that good enough?
No.
That's the reason.
Especially when he told you already.
I was afraid. I was angry. Oh, you were angry. Oh, that's justifiable.
That's all it took.
You were mad. I didn't know. That's his favorite. I didn't know.
That'd be excused.
Oh yeah, I didn't know. Or it's the woman you gave me.
It's my ribs fault.
It's my ribs fault. It's the serpent's fault. Somebody's fault.
Me.
It's everybody's fault but mine. That's why it said, read that again.
Before judgment, examine thyself.
Go ahead.
And in the day of visitation,
go ahead,
thou shalt find mercy.
Read on.
Humble thyself before thou be sick.
It said once
again.
Humble
thyself again before you be sick.
Yep.
See, the reason why I'm going off my own reasoning and my own pursuits, because the element of pride lifting me up, thinking I'm beyond having to go back into those shoes of discomfort and having to be spiritual and deny myself.
Right.
My arrogance is lifting me up from the concept of self-denial.
And my arrogance is keeping me from being quick in my work.
God.
It's what's keeping me to be idle. It's why I'm slowing down the work of my hands.
Arrogance causes men to decline.
And this is where the slackness is coming from. The slackness is due to my arrogance.
Because I think I'm beyond having to do A, B, and C.
I don't have to.
That's the nature of man. And so they have different what?
Excuses.
Different reasons.
Excuses or explanations for their behavior.
God. That's all men.
That's what the Most High reveals out of everybody. He puts everybody in a situation to determine what are your excuses or your reasons, or give me an explanation of why you made this decision. Everybody's getting put in those circumstances. Because the Most High is that inquiring mind. He wants to know.
He tries the reins of men.
Proves the hearts.
Yeah. He's
putting the hearts to the test. And what in particular did Asa do wrong?
The what?
What in particular did King Asa do wrong?
Relying on himself.
He went to the Syrians.
He went to the Syrians. Why?
Oh. Because he relied on the Most High.
He trusted in his money rather than the Most High.
Money's just a tool.
Yeah.
He trusted outside of God, outside of the Lord.
But when you do that, your state of mind is altered. You're altered when you're in your perspective towards the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
So you're altered. You're altering your mind state. Your mind state. You're not looking at the Most High pure. That's why it says that. That's why Barnabas said that your purpose be pure. Read that again in Acts 11:23.
No, man.
It says that read it one more time. I don't want to quote it wrong.
Acts 11:23.
That's why he said, I beg you that what?
Who, when he came and had seen the grace of the Most High, was glad and exhorted them all, that with purpose of heart.
He said that purpose of heart. Go ahead.
They would cleave unto the Lord.
That they would what?
Cleave unto the Lord.
So somewhere I'm starting to depart from the Most High. I'm not trusting them. I get to a point in my life where I stop trusting the Most High. Everybody gets to that point where they get to that cliff. Do I continue or do I stop? Do I continue or do I go for self? Do I start making my own decisions or I keep trusting the whole time that's how I got to where I was. I was trusting. I was submitting myself to what I was being shown and told. I was being guided and directed. But now all of a sudden, I get to a particular battle or situation where I don't know if I can trust the Most High on this one. I don't know if the Most High is going to be with me on this one. I'm not sure about this one.
Right.
I don't know about this one. Not that, although the Most High has been with me the whole time and through every other battle, but I get to a point where I'm not sure if the Most High is there, if the Most High exists, if I can depend on Him. This is a huge error that most men, like as if there's a problem that the Most High cannot handle, as if there's something the Most High can't resolve, or fix, or help you overcome, or help you win. Now let's go back to Exodus 25 and 30. Read that one more time, and somebody give me the definition of this word in the Hebrew. And I want the origin of where it comes from. Read that, Exodus 25 and 30. Read that.
Exodus chapter 25 and verse 30.
And then Elisha, get that 2 Chronicles back again, 16 and 9.
Yeah, I got it.
You got it?
Yeah.
Read that.
Come.
Yeah.
And thou shalt set upon the table.
It said you're going to set upon the table what?
Showbread.
Oh, now wait a minute. We know the showbread represents what?
Intentions.
Your intentions, man. Your heart.
Always before the Lord.
Your intentions are always going to be in front of the Most High. That's where He wanted at. He wants your intentions set before Him because He want to see what you're thinking.
And so the table is where you partake.
Yeah, that's where you place it at. In plain view. In view in front of. Because that's what that word means. That purpose in the Greek meant in view in front of. That's where you place it. You place it right in view and in front of the Most High. Now, give me that Hebrew for showbread.
I just got bread, fruit, and grain.
Okay. What is it? How you say it in Hebrew?
Laham.
Lacham?
Laham.
Lacham?
Yeah, is laham.
Lacham? Now, give me the root word for that lacham. Where does it come from?
Oh wow. Bread of the.
Adam.
Oh, my bad.
I'm sorry.
Whoever got it?
Bread of the faces.
It says bread of the what?
Bread of the faces.
The Most High want to see your what?
Your face.
You want to see your
The real you.
The real you, bro.
That's your face.
You
can't hide this.
It's the face bread. That showbread is the face bread. That's you. I want to know you. I want to know you at all times. I want to know where you are at all times. He says face bread, but give me the root word for that bread, that lacham, that showbread. There's more to it.
Yeah. To fight.
Yes.
To fight. To do
Yes.
battle.
It comes from another word, lacham,
Yeah.
which means what?
To fight.
Oh, what does the word bread mean?
To fight.
What does fight got to do with bread? It ain't got nothing to do with bread.
I thought bread meant show face.
It does. But the root word for this face bread comes from another word which means to fight, or what else?
Do battle.
To do battle, what else?
Make war.
To make war, what else?
Overcome. Prevail.
Overcome, what else?
To engage in battle.
To engage in battle, what else?
To consume by implication.
To consume by implication, to engage in a battle, to overcome, to make war. Now go back to 2 Chronicles 16 and let's get some understanding in verse 9. Hold them definitions, Amiyazi. Read that. Yeah, you got that, bro.
I've lost the song.
Yeah, go ahead.
2 Chronicles 16 and verse 9. For the eyes of the Lord run to and fro throughout the whole earth, to show Himself strong in the behalf of them whose heart is perfect.
He got that face bread, man. He want to see that face bread.
Not true off.
He want to see them intentions, bro. You know what the Most High want to see is? How do you overcome your wars, your battles? Now read on.
Yeah. Who's to show Himself strong in the behalf of them whose heart is perfect toward Him.
How they overcome their battles. Read on.
Herein That was done foolishly.
He said, now the prophet told King Asa, you've done foolishly. Read on.
Therefore, from henceforth thou shalt have wars.
Now we understand why he said what? Why you gonna have wars?
Exodus 15:3.
No, we understand that. But now we understand why was the judgment from this point forward that you're gonna have war, and war was never gonna cease from you.
So I can always see who you are.
Because you failed to overcome your perspective towards me. Because you failed the battle in your reasoning. You failed to look at me pure. So because when war hit, you lost faith in me. When the war was on, when the battle was about to ensue, you stopped believing in me. So because you stopped believing in me in a time of war, therefore war will never leave you. That's going to be your determination from this time forth. By the same thing in which you sold me out for is the same thing you're going to suffer for the rest of your life. It was by this particular instrument that you didn't have enough faith to overcome these damn Ethiopians. So now you're going to lose every battle from this time forth. By the same measure. Because you can't overcome your perspective.
That's where you're stuck at.
That's where you're stuck at. So that's where I'm going to leave you at.
That's a sickness.
That is a sickness. Yes, sir.
I got a definition for reprobate in the Compact Bible Dictionary.
Mm-hmm.
It says reprobate. The basic idea in reprobation is that of failing to stand the test.
Is that a what?
Failing to stand the test.
That's somebody. A reprobate mind is somebody that does what?
Doesn't.
Failing to stand the test.
Wow. They fail to what?
That's crazy.
Stand the test.
They fail to stand the test. Go ahead.
When applied to man's relation to the Most High, it suggests moral corruption.
They're morally corrupt. What else?
Unfitness.
They're what?
Unfitness.
Unfit. They're unfit.
I'm unconditioned.
Yep.
I didn't maintain my spirit.
Disqualified.
I'm not really in the spirit of fight.
What disqualifies me in my relation with the Most High?
My pursuits and my perspective.
I'm morally corrupt.
God.
I'm unfit. What else?
It says, all arising out of a lack of positive holiness.
It says all arising out of a lack of what?
Positive
holiness.
Yeah, because I didn't want to stay what? Positive. Wow.
But it comes down to one thing: failing the test. Right?
You gotta read it again, bro.
Yep. Yeah, there's a little more.
This is crazy, bro.
A reprobate. It says disapproved mind.
That's a what?
It's a disapproved mind.
It's the Most High. He exnays that particular mind. He doesn't approve of this mind frame. A mind frame that failed to pass the test.
Amazing, bro.
They failed to pass the test of the battles that are put in front of them. He said that mind is a reprobate mind. That mind is rejected. It's disapproved. Go ahead.
Man in sin is reprobate, disqualified, disapproved, and rejected because he cannot stand the test of holiness. Only in Christ's righteousness.
Only in what?
Only in Christ's righteousness.
Read on.
May he be approved.
No, there's only one thing left for this man. You better duplicate the works of Christ. Now that goes beyond the law. That goes above and beyond the law. Christ is that man's only hope. I better submit myself to all the duties and responsibilities and imitate the actions of everything Christ did. I better embody everything Christ was about. If I'm failing all the battles that the Most High put in front of me. Read that.
Ben-Hadad.
This is King Asa. Go ahead.
Made a diversion in Asa's favor by invading northern Israel.
Go ahead.
Whereupon Baasha left Ramah. Asa took the material found there and built therewith Geba and Mizpah.
Read on.
His lack of faith.
What happened with Asa?
His lack of faith.
Why did the Most High keep war in his house from that point on?
His lack of faith.
Because at the time that the battle was in front of him, what did the Most High want him to have? But he showed the Most High he was short on.
Faith.
It was faith, man. This man lacked trust. Another word for faith is trust. I stopped trusting the Most High. So all the Most High said was, okay, fine. Since in the battles that you have at home or abroad, because you lack faith in me to help you overcome these battles, you're going to lose every battle from this point forward. And there's going to be nothing but constant war in front of you, and you're not going to win. Because I put you in this situation so that you can develop faith. You've already shown me you can do it. You've had previous battles where I made the impossible possible. Why doubt now? Because it's a lack of what?
Faith.
Read on.
Was reproved by the seer Hanani, who told him that he had lost the honor of conquering the Syrians because of this alliance.
Because of what?
Of this alliance.
Go ahead.
And also prophesied war for the rest of his days.
So he said from this time forward, you're going to have nothing but wars and battles that are never going to leave you. Because the one battle you had that the Most High put in front of you, you've been victorious all the previous ones, but this one battle, you failed. So this is where you stop at. So where you stop believing in me at is where you're going to stop growing at. And you sold me out when it comes to trusting in me to overcome your enemies. Therefore, you're going to face your enemies every day. It's the same thing parents did when you got your ass kicked as a little kid and you came home crying and your parents told you don't come back in this house until you go back up there and go fight them kids. Don't come back in this house. I don't know about the generation now. They don't do that now. This generation shoot you. They can't take an L. But back in the day, in the 80s, you can't come home crying. You better go back outside and you better go fight. You better go fight. You ain't running from ain't nobody chase you. Because if they chase you once, you're going to be running every day from school if you let them chase you this time.
Yeah.
You're going to run every day. So you got to go ahead and get in the car. I remember these days. Get in the car and your parents are driving you back up the street or down the street, around the corner, and you go knock on that kid's door and you tell them to come outside and fight. Because you know what that kid got to understand? That if he picks on you this one time, you're going to fight him every time.
Never going to end.
Because you're going to always be running. You're going to always be a coward. So you better face, your parents did it to you. You better face this battle, win or lose. Your parents will watch you lose sometimes. Sometimes they say, all right, that's enough. They watch you get mopped up. All right, that's enough. They get back in the car.
I'd be like, yeah, well, there's a lot of them.
Yeah, now you know what they do?
I'm going to take you up there.
They put you in karate after they watch you get beat up. You finna go to karate, bro, because you can't win.
Just get wiped up like that.
Yeah, you can't represent the name like that. Then they get mad at your brother. Why you let them take that whooping like that? I'm just messing around. But your parents do it to you. They tell you get back out there and keep fighting because you're not going to be no coward. Those were the lessons behind what they were trying to institute. Same thing that the Most High is doing to King Asa. Listen, you're not going to be no coward. If you're going to doubt me at this point, you're going to doubt me all the time. So guess what? Since that's how you want to sell me out for faith because you don't have enough belief in me that I can aid you, no problem. Then you're going to fight every day. Life is going to be a battle every day. You know what? Once you embrace your battles, once you have enough confidence in the Most High and embrace your battles, you don't face those battles no more. You move on to bigger and better battles. You move to the next level of battles. But a lot of men stay stuck in elementary battles.
That's true.
You know the elementary battles? Giving. Men, some days I want to give, some days I don't. Some days I believe, some days I don't. Man, that's elementary. You should have got through that when you first came in. You should have understood the details of what Christ was demanding from you. It's not like we don't know. But I want to pick and choose what I give the Most High. That's elementary. You should have got that worked out from the jump. Things are not going to be my way. I'm still fighting to exercise what I want because I'm still fighting for the way I see things. Your consciousness should have been submitted a long time ago. That's why Romans 6:15 says what? Read that. Romans chapter 6 verse 15. Is that it right there?
No, we said it's anger.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We're going to get to that too. Yeah. We're going to get to that too. Read that real quick. Romans chapter 6. Read verse 15.
Romans chapter 6 and verse 15. What then? Shall we sin? Because we are not under the law, but under grace?
Go ahead.
The Most High forbid. Know ye not that whom ye yield yourselves servants to obey, his servants ye are to whom ye obey, whether of sin.
It said whether of what?
Whether of sin unto death.
Go ahead.
Or of obedience unto righteousness.
So if I don't trust the Most High, then I'm going to be a slave to not trusting the Most High. Never trusting the Most High.
That's scary.
Right.
I'm going to become a slave to that mentality. If I'm afraid to lose when it comes to serving the Most High, I'm going to be a slave to fearing loss. Whatever you fail to embrace or you adopt, you're going to be a slave to that mind state that you adopt. Whether it be of sin or unto obedience unto what? Righteousness. So I got to keep proving myself obedient to the Most High constantly. Just like that. Now give me this right here. When you look at that showbread, read this right here. This part, that part. Read that right there.
The bread placed upon the table, Hebrew, face bread, was made of fine wheat flour.
It said that bread was made of fine wheat flour. Read on.
Unleavened.
Go ahead. It was unleavened. Now, our bread that we have, that we offer our sacrifices that we offer the Most High, is not supposed to be leavened. It's not supposed to be intermingled with anything. It's supposed to be unleavened. Read on.
Baked in 12 loaves, cakes.
That's representing the 12 tribes of Israel. Read on.
Each containing 1/5 of an ephah of flour.
Go ahead.
These according to the, okay, right here. 2 pounds of 6 each. They were renewed every Sabbath.
It says the bread was renewed how often?
Every Sabbath.
So what does that mean?
You gotta be renewed every Sabbath?
Your heart need to be renewed every Sabbath. Just like that bread got replaced because that bread got stale, that bread was no good after 7 days. The priest had 7 days to use that bread.
Not every Day of Atonement.
Yeah, not
or every Passover.
Yeah. That means
What was that?
They said not. Tell what you said.
I said not every Day of Atonement.
Yeah, once a year.
Or
Day of
not
Atonement is once a
every
year.
Passover. We should be renewed every Shabbat.
He said that bread was, my intentions were made pure every what?
Every Sabbath.
Every Sabbath, bro. That means I was examining myself every week. That means I had a fresh conscience towards the Most High every week. My conscience towards the Most High didn't get stale like that bread. That bread had to be replaced.
Yeah.
That means your conscience got to be renewed weekly. You got to stay positive weekly. The Shabbat is supposed to be the opportunity to refresh your loaf, to refresh your face bread, to refresh your intentions, to refresh your motivations. You got, yes sir.
Oh, just it says made out of wheat. It just made me think of the wheat and the tares.
Yeah, something pure. Just it's got to be pure.
You are the wheat.
It says it's got to be changed every Sabbath. Go ahead.
To be eaten by the priest exclusively, and in the sanctuary only, and were then replaced by fresh loaves.
So a man's conscience got to be what?
Replaced.
It got to be refreshed. Your intentions got to be what?
Regenerated.
They got to be regenerated. Your thoughts got to be pure. You got to make your thoughts pure and clean your thoughts daily, weekly. You can't let your intentions and how you view the Most High grow stale
and decline from our life.
Yeah, you can't give the Most High no stale outlook. The Most High he's not accepting no stale outlook.
Yeah,
he's not taking it, bro. But a lot of us give the Most High what we want to give the Most High and expect him to accept it. Man, the Most High not taking that old stale effort. Man, that effort better be fresh. Brother, you better be alive when it's time to give the Most High your offerings.
It's not a routine, bro.
Bro, you better give the Most High your best. You gonna give the Most High some stale bread? That's how we do. We think we can give the Most High some half-ass effort
Or just the crust.
50% we believe and 50% we don't. You know nobody like that crust.
Yeah, the Most High this.
The two ends of the bread. Yeah, the two butts to make a sandwich out. Come on, man. You know some people like the ends of the bread. No, you'll eat it if that's all you got. You better toast it, butter it, put some syrup on it, some peanut butter and jelly, some almond butter. You better deck it up. You just got two ends. But we give the Most High the whatever's left over after we've indulged into our pleasure, and then we give the Most High whatever's left, and we expect the Most High to accept this. No, man, Most High not having that, man. That bread got to be refreshed. That means your mind better be made pure on a regular. That means a man's heart need to be cleaned.
Come.
A real brainwash, a washing of the mind.
Yeah, but what happens when it doesn't? Now let's finish that in verse 10. Let's go back to 2 Chronicles. So let's pick somebody else. Pick it up, chapter 16, verse 10. Let's read that.
2 Chronicles chapter 16 and verse 10.
Read that.
Come. Then Asa was wroth with the seer.
So so when my bread is old and I got a stale perspective towards the Lord, what happens to me?
You're wroth.
I get what?
You get real wroth.
What did the Most High tell Cain?
Yeah. Why art thou wroth?
Why you wroth, man? Why art thou wroth? Cain's bread got old.
Real bad.
His perspective got sour. That's that leaven, bro.
Come.
That's that sourdough bread. That is.
Come.
That's what that leaven is. That leaven, real leaven is sourdough. That's bread that's been sitting out for a long time, and organisms grow on top of the bread and start aging the bread and turning the sweet wheat bitter.
Yeah.
Flavor change.
The flavor changes. And we give the Most High sourdough bread, but we expect top-notch blessings. And this is what happened to Cain. Giving that sourdough and expecting the Most High to bless him. And the Most High said, why thou what?
Wroth.
What wroth? Meaning what?
Angry.
Extremely angry.
Are you mad?
See, when I don't give the Most High what I should, which is pure intentions with that pure purpose, that purpose heart. If I don't give the Most High what I know He deserves, and I start to withdraw myself and decline from my offering and decline in my efforts, then the Most High makes my situation difficult. And He makes my life difficult.
Wars.
And He makes wars. And then when the Most High makes my situation difficult because I'm growing sour in my mind, then I start taking that on the people around me. I get this mentality of wrath. What happens when a man is wroth? Read on.
It says, then Asa was wroth
At
with
what?
the seer,
At the seer that told him this news. Read on.
and put him in a prison house.
And did what?
Put him in a prison house.
Now, why is he taking out the reprobate mind that he possesses? That the Most High is rejecting his thought process.
Right.
The Most High is disapproving this man's sacrifices because, as in relation to his operation, the way he operates and how he views the Most High, he's failing in that realm.
Yeah.
He's failing in that arena to carry the right perspective to serve the Most High. So that because this man is failing in that arena to serve the Most High appropriately, this man decides to take it out on who?
The seer.
Yeah, on the people around me. This is the natural course of what happens when somebody's perspective is not pure when they serve the Most High.
Makes you sick.
It makes them sick, and they start taking it out on the people around them, just like Cain. That's why the Most High told Cain, "Why art thou wroth?
Why are you mad?
Why are you extremely
Did he
angry?"
ask him that while he was doing his tithe and offering, or after?
When he was doing his sacrifices, but the Most High wasn't blessing him.
He was literally doing them, and then he caught him mad while he was doing them.
He was doing it. He saw that face bread. That face bread was showing. Why is that countenance was down?
Why art thou wroth?
Why are you wroth? He could tell. He said, "If thou doest well, will thou not be accepted? If not, sin lieth at the door." And what happened? We read about the first murder right after that.
He kept that because he couldn't get rid of that spirit.
Yeah, because when a man's mind and intentions are not accepted by the Most High, they get mad and they burn down everything around them.
They blame people around
And they
too.
blame they take it out on the people around them.
Hmm.
And he said, and this man, King Asa, did the same exact thing as Cain. I put the prophet, I don't want to hear, I killed the messenger. I put the messenger, I'm mad at the messenger. So I put the messenger in prison.
But I'm not mad at the fact I'm disconnected from the Most High. That's the crazy part.
You know how we kill the messenger? We stop answering the phone. That's how people put the messenger in prison. The person that give me bad news, that tell me news I don't want to hear, I don't answer the phone.
Hmm.
That's how we put the messenger in prison.
True.
We just hit the red.
Right.
I ain't taking this call. That's how we put him in prison. Read on.
Come. Says then Asa was wroth with the seer
Go ahead.
and put him in a prison house.
Go ahead.
For he was enraged.
For he was in what?
He was enraged.
He was in what?
He was in a rage.
Man, why do people get like this?
All he did was tell the truth.
Man, why do people get like this? That way I read this from me.
I never thought about that.
Ain't speaking
He
no
failed the
smooth
test.
I gotta pull this from Philo. Page 39. Read that right here. Page 39. Follow line 114. Read that.
Line 114.
Gotta read that. Yeah.
Upon thy breast and upon thy belly shalt thou go.
He's talking about Satan, right? He's talking about men when they get in their feelings. It's comparable to these body parts. Men and they in their feelings. He said they carry the attributes of Satan. Read on.
For passion works around these parts.
He says, for passion works around the belly.
Okay.
Passion is in the belly.
Hmm.
It's in the heart.
Hmm.
Go ahead. Same thing as Satan. Satan got into Cain.
And the breast and the belly, like a serpent.
Like a what?
Man, like a serpent.
A man becomes like a what?
Like a serpent.
Man, that man starts adopting the characteristics of Satan.
Mm-hmm.
Who got into Cain?
Satan.
That's why he says sin lieth at the door. Who's all in their passions? Who operates out of passion? Controlled by passions. That's Satan. Read.
Like a serpent in his hole.
Like a serpent in a hole. Read on.
When pleasure has its efficient causes and its subject matter, then it is in operation around the belly.
It says when a man starts desiring his personal pursuits, he says he starts believing and he becomes passionate about his pursuits when he wants what he wants. That means when his appetite is being stirred up. Read on.
It says, and the parts adject to the belly.
Go ahead.
Oh, adjacent. Adjacent.
Adjacent.
And the parts adjacent to the belly. And when it has not these efficient causes in the subject matter, then it is occupied about the breast.
It says it travels up further from what a person wants to make their passion reality.
Mm-hmm.
And so it goes from just a passion, now it becomes them trying to put it in motion. It starts working its way upward to becoming their intention. Read on.
Which is the seat of anger.
Which is the what?
Seat of anger.
And it starts bubbling up out of their belly, and they're starting to manifest this anger, or manifest it in the form of anger. Read on.
For lovers of pleasure.
He says, for lovers of pleasure. Listen to this. Read.
When deprived.
And so when people don't get what they want, and this is what happened to Cain.
Wow.
This is what happened to Asa, King Asa. This is what happened to any man or any woman. When people love pleasure more than they love reason, more than they love restraint, more than they love the fear of the Lord, more than they love trusting the Most High. When people love pleasure, what happens?
When deprived of their pleasure.
When you keep them back from giving them what they want, when they don't get what they want. But I love pleasure, but I don't get what I want. The Most High stops blessing me. He starts cursing my hand, and I'm working, but I don't get what I want. What happens?
Become embittered.
They become what?
Embittered.
They become embittered with what?
By their anger.
They become swallowed up by their what?
By their anger.
And what's causing them to be embittered by this anger?
Their belly.
I don't get what I want.
In that pleasure.
Yes, the Most High is not allowing me and he's not giving me what I want.
Deprived of their pleasure.
He's depriving me of what I want. So when the Most High holds me back and doesn't give me what I want, I become embittered with what?
By their anger.
Go ahead.
But let us see what
That's
is
it.
shown.
That's it. He said they becoming, so that anger has a root source. The anger of man's anger and their negative outlook is coming from where?
The want for that pleasure.
The belly, but not fulfilling the pleasures of the belly.
Right.
So this is why that anger starts to boil over, and they start to take it out on people around them. Collar. Yeah, collar. They start taking. Their attitude changes. They become extremely full of wrath. Why? Because that man's not getting something that he wants.
Yeah.
And the Most High knows that anger is a result of a man not getting what he wants. And that's why the Most High told Cain, if thou doest well, will thou not be accepted. If you do what's right, I'll give you what you want.
And that is how you get what you want.
Exactly.
By doing it God's way.
Right.
Not your way, and making that such a heightened pleasure that you start doing stuff your own.
It's a result. A man's bread, meaning his heart, turns bitter towards the Lord. So the Most High withdraws his hand from blessing the man. So the man doesn't get what he wants. And when a man doesn't get what he wants, he gets angry. And when a man gets angry, he starts lashing out at the people around him. The people around him is the one that suffered. But it all came from where? It started because this man let his mind get contaminated. He stopped trusting the Most High. Now it's everybody's fault that you don't trust the Most High. Now it's the messenger's fault because you don't trust the Most High.
It's the prophet's fault.
Now it's the brother's fault or the sister's fault because you don't trust the Most High. Now it's your neighbor's fault. It's your kinfolk's fault. It's your people, your co-workers' fault. It's everybody's fault now because you don't have no faith. Now I start lashing out on everybody. Everybody got to feel your wrath because you don't get what you want, because you don't know what it takes to please the Most High. You don't know how to stay positive every Shabbat.
Because it's about your belly.
Because it's about your belly.
You're mad because it's about your belly. That's
Right.
crazy.
What was that point that you made about the point of the belly reaching up to the breast?
He was saying that where these two passions they stem from. The passion stems from the belly, and it works its way up to the heart.
You know, that's a sign of escalating you're just elevating it. And just like how you were saying, now you're reaching out to your own people.
Yeah.
You
Now
don't even deserve it.
Now being negative.
You know
Read that in verse 10.
Kind of. 2 Chronicles chapter 16 and verse 10. Then Asa was wroth with the seer.
Now you mad at the one that's giving you the information. Now you got a problem with the prophet. You got a problem with the teacher. What the teacher do? But tell you the truth. You got brothers be mad as hell at the teachers. But what the teachers do? But tell you the truth. What did the Most High do? But tell you already what it takes to please Him. What did the people around do to deserve you being embittered with anger? Read on.
And put him in a prison house.
Go ahead.
For he was in a rage.
Because he was in a what?
In a rage.
Why is a man in a rage? Why are men so angry?
Obviously failed the test, and it makes you thinking sick.
Right, they're sick. They've grown sick. They've developed that reprobate mind because their mind state is no longer approved by the Most High. Because they don't see the Most High in the pure light. They don't trust the Most High. As a result of me not solely trusting the Most High 100%, people around me will suffer. And I myself will suffer. But in particular, I become what? Read on.
It says, for he was in a rage with him because of this thing.
Go ahead.
And Asa oppressed.
Oh, wait a minute.
There we go.
Oh, wait a minute. What happens when I don't get what I want and I'm angry? I'm angry at the Most High. I become what?
Oppressed some of the people.
Oh, wait a minute. Who do I take it out on?
The people.
I start becoming an oppressor. I start taking my anger out because I'm really mad at the Most High. And that's why the scripture says, he that despises man, despises not man, but who?
The Most High.
The Most High. Because I'm really mad at the Most High. But because I'm mad at the Most High, because I really lack faith. Because I really lack trust. Because I really lack belief. And I don't refresh my mind weekly. I don't change out that old bread. I hold on to my negative thought process. So now everybody around me must suffer. And I become the oppressor. I become Cain. I become Nimrod. I become Esau. I become these figures that had to get satisfaction off somebody else suffering. Read.
It says, and behold, the acts of Asa, first and last, lo, they are written in the book of the kings of Judah and Israel. And Asa.
That's it. Now, do me a favor. Go to Romans chapter 2, verse 1. How does the Most High look at this? Romans chapter 2, verse 1.
You know what's crazy too? Now that I'm thinking about it, so we have different, just like how you have different kinds of virtues that the Most High accept, it's the same thing of different negativity, and all it takes is just one little thing, and the next thing you know, you're going through anger.
It's a domino effect.
Yeah, anger is foolishness. Then you become an oppressor. Then you become negative. Then you become doubtful. Then you losing faith. Like how you said, a domino effect.
And every one of them,
little piece.
And every one of them is like a failure of the test.
But that's crazy, bro.
It's the beginning of the failure of the test,
That's crazy.
which kicked the first domino in motion.
Or the evidence.
Because when that one battle that Asa had, that the Most High wanted to see was check his heart. That one little failure kicked the first domino off, where everything after that became problematic.
Yeah.
And because he failed that one battle, now he said you're going to have wars in your house from this time for the rest of your life. And now because you got bad news that you're going to have wars for the rest of your life because you doubted the Most High, now you're going to take that out on the people around you.
Well, God is dangerous, boy.
Read
I thought
that.
That was a little hard, but
yeah, read that in Romans chapter 2, verse 1.
Come. Romans chapter 2, verse 1 reads, therefore thou art inexcusable.
That's why he said, man, there ain't no excuses for this.
Inexcusable.
He said, there's no excuse for this behavior. There's no excuse for this behavior. None. He said, thou old man, are what?
Therefore thou art inexcusable. Oh man.
Old man. He said, man, the way man operates, there's no excuse or reason or rationale for man's behavior. Man is unjust as hell, man. Man is crooked in their perspective. Should not treat people how I view the Most High. And if I could view the Most High the right way, and I could value what He's done for me as a man, then I should be able to extend that same thing to the people around me. But instead of rewarding people with love, which the Most High gives me, mercy, which the Most High gives me, I reward people with hate because I'm upset, because I'm angry. He said, man, man is inexcusable. There's no justification for this behavior, for being an oppressor, being full of rage and taking my rage out on the people around me. He said, there's no justification for that. No man can justify taking his anger out and becoming an oppressor to the people around him. There's no excuse for that. Read it again.
Therefore thou art inexcusable, O man, whosoever thou art that judges.
He said, because the way you look at people is sour. Read.
For wherein thou judges another.
He said, why are you looking at what other people do? Go ahead.
Thou condemnest thyself.
He says, thou condemnest thyself. Go ahead.
For thou that judgest doest the same thing.
How can you take your anger out on somebody else when you're just as guilty as they are? How can you have a problem with the people around you when you're just as bad as they are?
A man like it to thyself.
Right? How can I express such vehement hatred to my brother when I'm guilty of the same thing?
Yeah.
How can I even point out what other men are not qualified for, or what they're good at or not good at, or why I don't like this man, and I'm supposed to be justified in this? But I got the same problem he got. We both doubt the Most High. We both don't have enough faith. We both need the Most High's mercy. But I got the audacity to have a problem with another man. I am the biggest hypocrite in the world. I don't have peaceful relationships with the people around me. I'm the problem. Because I can't see myself. But I can see what everybody else around me. I got the viewpoint of the oppressor. I can see I can be the critical analysis and analyze what everybody does wrong in my eyes. If you ask me, I can tell you what's wrong with that person. If you ask me, I got 10 things I can point out and say, while this person's no good or not, or the Most High shouldn't qualify them. Or flaws that I can see. I can see all the flaws in everybody around me. But I can't see the blaring flaws within myself. He said, the Most High said, you're just as problematic as who you take your anger out on. Christ said, Matthew 23 and 34, he said what? 23 and 24. What did he say? Read that. Matthew 23 and 24. Finish that. Stay where you at, my water. We're going to read out in Romans.
God.
Read that.
Matthew 23 and verse 24.
Read that.
Ye blind guide.
He said you're blind. When a man has developed the wrong consciousness towards the Most High, and they come back and they start treating people, mistreating the people around them, and the people around them have to suffer for it. He says they become blind what?
Blind guide.
They become blind guides. How are they blinded? What does he mean when he says thou blind guide?
Which strain?
Hold on.
Improper perception?
Yes, bingo.
You leading people astray. You setting a stumbling block in front of those that are blind.
How?
Because you're blind?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I'm blind. That, like Dawiyah said, how are these judges? What's wrong with these particular people? He says, ye blind guide. Why is Christ calling these people blind guides?
Because they're leading
They're blind.
In what
they're
way?
Leading people.
In what way?
They look at the Most High.
Bingo. He says, ye blind guides, because you don't have the right perspective towards the Lord. And because you think the people are the problem. You don't have the capacity to understand that your thought process is off towards the Most High. You don't share the same thought process as you think you do. Everybody thinks they possess the mind of God. And that's what gives them the justification to judge people and treat people a certain way. It's pride. Because I think the Most High is in agreement with my thought process. I think the Most High agrees with the way I look at people and the way I treat people. And my excuses for treating people a certain way. I don't have God's perspective. That's why he said, ye blind guides, read.
Which strain at a gnat.
You look at things the wrong way. This is man's problem. Man's problem is how they look at life and look at people. And their problem is how they look at the Most High. They don't have the right perspective, man. My perspective is crooked half the time I'm walking the earth. And I wonder why I can't get along with the people around me. But I can sure as hell point out what's wrong with the people around me. But I never fix the problem. The problem is who? It's you. The problem is, more importantly, your lack of trust and faith in the Most High. Because everything stems from there. Everything stems from my lack of belief in the Father.
Because if you followed him, even the people that have problems or you may have problems with, he teaches you how to handle those situations.
Exactly. And because you wait on the Most High to give you the determination. That's why Christ said, he says, I hear and then I judge. He said, and my judgment is just. He said, because I do the will of the Father that sent me. Christ said, Christ don't walk around with his own preconceived perspective or notion or ideas or concepts. He doesn't walk around assuming anything. He said, as I hear, I judge. He said, and my judgment is just. Christ don't walk around with his, oh yeah, you this and you that and you this, and like how we walk around, putting people in categories. I gotta respect you, but I don't gotta respect you though. I gotta show you some honor, but I ain't gotta show you no honor.
He's a respecter of man.
A respecter of persons. Most High's not that way. But we pick and choose who we feel like we have to respect. We pick and choose who we have to show honor to. Because I don't like that person, so I don't got to respect that person. He says, you strain at a what?
Gnat.
And what?
And swallow a camel.
You got this is the problem with us. We walk around with the wrong perspective. Treating people how we see fit, which is crooked. But it's all stemmed from a bad perspective towards the Most High. Because I don't share the Most High. I've never adopted the Most High's mind state. There's something wrong with how I look at things. That's why it says in Romans chapter 2, read that right there.
Okay. Romans chapter 2 and verse 1 reads.
Yeah, I know. Psalm 50, yeah.
Therefore thou art inexcusable, O man, whosoever thou art that judgest. For wherein thou judgest another, thou condemnest thyself. For thou that judgest doest the same thing.
It said, if this man doeth the same thing, how does the Most High look at this man if I'm just as guilty as the people that I have problems with, that I can't get along with, that I become an oppressor to? Read.
But we are sure that the judgment of the Most High is according to truth.
Not our judgment. Our judgment is not based upon truth. Our judgment is based upon pride, arrogance, assumption, and anger, and emotion. Those are the things that predominantly rules our thought process. But we think that we got the truth. We think our perspective is exactly what the Most High ordered. He said no. Paul said, I don't even believe that my judgment is right. He says, but I'm sure that the Most High's judgment is the truth, not how I look at things. Read on.
But we are sure that the judgment of the Most High is according to truth against them which commit such things.
Read on.
And thinkest thou this, O man, thou judgest them which do such things.
He said, I want you to meditate on this old man who's just as guilty as the people that you treat horribly. Who's just as guilty as the people that you disrespect. Who is just as guilty as the people that you quantify as evil and no good and not worthy of respect or love or mercy. Read.
O man, that judges them which do such things, and doest the same.
Go ahead.
That thou shalt escape the judgment of the Most High.
Do you do this with the idea that you're going to get away from the Most High's judgment? That the Most High's judgment is just going to fall on the people that you look at and that you got a problem with? Do you think the Most High's judgment is just going to stop with them? You don't think the Most High's judgment is also going to be on you? That's what he's asking. He said, I want you to think about that. He said, I want you to meditate on that. You better check your judgment.
Before you wreck yourself.
But before you wreck yourself. He said, you better analyze that the judgment of the Most High is not going to stop with the people that you got a problem with, because you don't think they deserve your respect or love or honor. Just because you don't like them. Okay. Well, guess what? The Most High don't like you either.
Right. How about that?
But read on.
Yeah, man.
Verse 4. Or despisest thou the riches of his goodness?
Or do you despise the riches of his goodness? Now, if we get into this, we might as well. Let's go to 1 John chapter 4 verse 7 real quick. Somebody read 1 John chapter 4 verse 7. We're not going to finish this. It's going to be a part 2. We're going to wrap it up because it's about to change into something different. Well, not something different, but going further into this topic, into this point of what the mind state is supposed to be. So I don't want to go into this and not be able to finish it. So we'll pick it up on next Wednesday. Read that.
1 John chapter 4 and verse 7.
My Waller, read that one more time. Romans chapter 2, verse 4.
Come. Romans chapter 2 and verse 4 reads, or despisest thou the riches of his goodness and forbearance?
Or do you not view the people around you like the Most High views you? See, the Most High gives you opportunities. The Most High gives you second chances. The Most High gave you Christ, his only begotten Son. The Most High is merciful. He's been merciful. The Most High is patient with all your errors and all your mistakes. Do not the people around you deserve the same thing that the Most High has given to you? Now pick that up in 1 John chapter 4, start at verse 7.
Come. Beloved, let us love one another, for love is of the Most High.
It says, so I can start analyzing why do I treat people so bad? Why do I have bad relationships? Why do I have failed relationships? Why do I have constant altercations? Why do I have constant bitterness with the people around me? Why am I always fighting with the people that I'm supposed to be giving love to? Why am I always arguing, finding myself in arguments and in contentious debates with the people that I'm supposed to be showing love to? Why there's always a problem within my household like King Asa? Why is there always wars, always battles, there's always arguments, there's always debates, whether I'm on a job, whether I'm at home, whether I'm on the road, whether I'm in a vehicle, anytime I'm next to somebody, there's always a problem between me and the people around me.
Always friction.
There's always friction and always conflict. I take friction with me. I carry friction and a chip on my shoulder. I'm always, when it comes to me, there's hardly ever opportunity where after a certain amount of time, me and the people around me will be at peace. There's always debates. Why is there always debates with me? There's always arguments. Why is there always arguments? Why is there hardly ever any harmony when I'm around? Because there's issues with me that's unfixed. But the appropriate perspective is to share the perspective of the Most High to the people around me. And what is that? Read that again.
Come. 1 John chapter 4 and verse 7. Beloved, let us love one another.
Let us do what?
Let us love one another.
Go ahead.
For love is of the Most High.
Yeah, that's how you know I'm in the right spirit. If I'm not showing the people love around me, I'm in the wrong spirit. If I'm always arguing with the people around me, I'm in the wrong spirit. If I'm always debating with people around me, I'm in the wrong spirit. There's always contention and strife with the people around me, I'm in the wrong spirit. Because I'm not looking at the Most High correctly, and as a residual effect of that, the people around me suffer. They catch that smoke. They catch the smoke of my unbelief. He said, but I owe the people around me love. Read on.
Come. It says, for love is of the Most High.
Read on.
And everyone that loveth is born of the Most High.
And this is how you know that they're being reborn in the spirit. This is how you know that they're changing, man. I'm changing because I'm learning how to love the people around me. Read on.
And knoweth the Most High.
Go ahead. And I know how the Most High thinks. Read on.
He that loveth not knoweth not the Most High.
I don't know. I don't share the perspective of the Most High. I don't share the thought process the Most High has. Me and the Most High, I strain at a gnat and swallow a camel. There's something wrong with my perspective. Read on. I look at the wrong things in people. I look for the wrong things in people. I look at the wrong things in people. Read on.
For the Most High is love. In this was manifested the love of the Most High toward us.
Now, how do you know that the Most High loves you? Let's find out. Read.
Because that the Most High sent his only begotten Son into the world, that we might live through him. Herein is love. Not that we love the Most High, but that he loved us.
He says, who gave who to who? Who gave what to who? The Most High gave us Christ, man. That was the evidence and the facts and the proof that he loved us. Where's our proof? Where's our proof at? Arguing with your brother? Always fighting with the people in your house? Can't never get along with brothers that you labor with? Sisters that you labor with? There's always something wrong. Where's the proof of your love? Because it damn sure it's not in the contention. It's not in the bitterness. Read on.
Come. Herein is love. Not that we love the Most High, but that he loved us and sent his Son to be a propitiation for our sins.
Go ahead.
Beloved, if the Most High so loved us.
So guess what I owe now? If I'm going to alter that sour bread and change how I've been dealing with the people around me, I got to analyze and examine my thought process. Am I thinking towards the Most High correctly? Am I trusting the Most High in my battles? And if I'm not, am I taking the failures out on the people around me? What I have to understand is this. Read verse 11.
Come. Beloved, if the Most High so loved us, we ought also to love one another.
He says, I have to give the people around me what I've been given. I have to learn how to give the people around me what I've been given. I owe the people what the Most High gave me. You owe it to the people around you. Now I'll go back to finish that in Romans chapter 2 verse 4, my Lord.
Okay.
Finish that.
Okay. Romans chapter 2 and verse 4.
We're
Read.
going to read 4 or 5 and finish the class. Go ahead.
Come. Or despisest thou the riches of his goodness?
Now how do I despise the riches of the Most High goodness? Because I don't give what the Most High has given me to people around me. The Most High gave me love, man, so I owe love to the people around me. But because I don't give that in return, that's how I show the Most High that I despise the goodness, his goodness that he gave his Son. He said he gave his only begotten Son for propitiation for our sins, as debt paid, so that we don't have to suffer. Yes, sir.
And that also that we might live through
live through him. Right. That was an opportunity. Remember Christ, to a reprobate, you read it, Amiathia, to a reprobate mind, it said his only hope is Christ. That means if I haven't mastered this Bible, which ain't nobody mastered the Bible. But if I don't know anything, I better know what love is. Mm-hmm. If I don't know a lot, I better know what love is. I better know what sacrifice is. If I don't know a whole lot, I better know what that is. Read that.
Verse 4. Or despisest thou the riches of his goodness?
I despise the riches of the Most High's goodness when I don't give what the Most High has given me to other people around me. When I don't know how to dispense what I've received. A lot of us are on borrowed time. A lot of us have been given second chances. A lot of us have made buku mistakes. How dare I not know how to give somebody mercy? Haven't I received it? Haven't the Most High given me second chances? If the Most High hold every sin that we've done against us, we wouldn't be here right now. Read on.
And forbearance.
He says, we despise the fact that the Most High has held his hand back from punishing us. We abuse that opportunity. Read on.
And forbearance and long suffering.
Read on.
Not knowing that the goodness of the Most High leadeth thee to repentance.
Well, don't you know that by the Most High giving you a second chance, not judging you by every one of your mistakes, has allowed you to buy time to fix yourself? How else has the Most High been giving you time to make adjustments? You didn't come in as truth perfect. Has not the Most High been working with you? Are you not a work in progress? Are there not things about you that still need to be corrected? So why can't that be given to the same people around you that you've received? Why do you got to be an oppressor? Why do you got to look at the people around you with the altered perspective, like it's their fault? They're worthy of you dispensing your anger out on, and you don't got to respect them. It's okay for you to be Cain. No, it's not. You justified in your anger. No, you're not. You're justified in your treatment to your brother. No, you're not. Read on.
Not knowing that the goodness of the Most High leadeth thee into repentance.
Don't you? How have you been given repentance? You've been given time. The Most High has not been holding all your mistakes against you. Then if you deserve a second chance and you deserve the benefit of the doubt because the Most High gave it to you, then you better damn give it to somebody else around you and not become an oppressor. You better refresh. You better go refresh your bread every Sabbath. Your face bread is sour. Read on.
Not knowing that the goodness of the Most High leadeth thee into repentance.
Go ahead.
But after thy hardness.
But what happened to King Asa?
He was hard.
How do you know he was hard?
He started pressing the people around him.
He started pressing the people around him. And you know what? He had caught that foot disease. And what happened when he caught that foot disease?
He didn't go to the Most High.
He didn't seek the Lord.
Again.
He didn't go seek the Most High for healing.
But he did seek the physicians.
He did seek the physicians, but he didn't seek the Most High for healing. He disconnected himself from the Most High. That man's heart grew bitter. That's what happened to King Asa. His heart turned sour, and he didn't want to repent. He didn't want to change that sour perspective. He said, I'm going to die like this. And he did.
He kept it real.
And he kept it real. He going to die like this. Okay.
He keep it real goes way wrong.
And he caught the sickness in his 39th year. And his 41st year he died. He had 2 years to seek the Most High for healing.
And didn't want to do it.
He didn't want to do it.
Because he was mad.
Because he was that mad.
He was still angry. Huh?
Yeah, because he held on to his anger.
You know a book that's in?
Yeah, we were just reading it.
2 Chronicles chapter 16.
Yeah, 2 Chronicles. Somebody read that real quick.
Read that.
Yeah, you can hold on to your anger if you want to. You're not justified.
Verse 10.
I'm going to die like this.
We ain't got to. I just want to know.
No, it's part of the class anyway. Read that. Finish 11 through 14. Read that. Somebody read that real quick.
2 Chronicles chapter 16 and verse, you said 11?
Yes,
Come.
11 through 14.
Come. And behold, the acts of Asa, first and last.
Go ahead.
Lo, they are written in the book of the kings of Judah and Israel.
Read on.
And Asa, in the 39th year of his reign, was diseased in his feet.
They said, in all thy ways be quick, and no sickness shall come upon thee. It says, humble thyself, and thou shalt not be sick. Read on.
Until his disease.
He that sinneth, let him fall in the hand of the physician. Read.
until his disease was exceeding great.
Oh man, so the Most High could have
Too much.
the Most High could have mitigated that and started healing him of his sickness. But he let the sickness get out of control. Was it really the disease of the feet that got out of control? Or what really got out of control? His anger. His anger to the Most High got out of control. And that foot disease was a reflection of that man's mind. It got out of control.
And the foot is the furthest thing away from your heart,
Well,
your body part.
yes, sir.
You know, it's crazy because, like how you guys mentioned earlier, like how Satan was cursed in his belly, Asa was cursed in his feet for slowing down.
Yep.
Instead of being quick.
Instead of being quick.
Yeah.
Read
It's
on.
crazy.
Come on. It says, yet in his disease he sought not to the Most High.
In his disease, he did what?
Sought not to the Most High.
He despised the goodness of the Most High. He didn't want to change. Read on.
But to the physicians.
He thought he sought alternatives. He was angry at the Lord.
Alternative guy right here, bro.
Yeah. He was really angry at the Most High. Read on.
And Asa slept with his fathers and died in the 41st year of his reign.
So he'd rather die like that than repent. He'd rather die like that than change. That's pride. That's somebody that holds on to their pride to the end. I'm going to go down like this.
What verse?
Finish that, my water, in Romans chapter 2, verse 5. Read it one more time.
Come.
Finish last verse.
Romans chapter 2, verse 5 reads, but after thy hardness.
He said, but after thy what?
Hardness.
Yeah, some men grow hard. They don't want to change. They don't want to extend the same love that God has given them to the people around them. They'd rather die like this. I'm going to die being angry. I'm going to die being bitter. I'm going to die treating people like crap. I'm going to die being the oppressor. I'm going to die being the argument guy, the debater. You can grow hard if you want to. You can abuse the sacrifices of Christ if you want to. Read.
But after thy hardness and impotent heart.
It said, yeah, after your hardness and impenitent heart.
Impenitent heart.
That's a heart that don't want to make right. They don't want to. That's a heart that does not want to repent. I'm gonna die like this. Read.
But after thy hardness and impenitent heart. Impenitent heart. Treasurest up unto thyself wrath against the day of wrath and revelation of the righteous judgment of the Most High.
All you're doing is stacking up what? You're stacking up wrath. Because you want to hold on to your wrath. Guess what the Most High is doing to you? He's stacking up your wrath. Now that's judgment. That's justice, I mean. Now that's fair.
So even judgment.
That's fair. And that's why verse 6 says what? Last verse. Read verse 6. That's why the Most High said this. Read.
Verse 6. Who will render to every man.
The Most High is going to pay every man what?
According to his deeds.
He's going to give every man according to what?
To his deeds.
Because you want to hold on to your wrath. You want to be Cain. You're going to go out like that. You're going to be King Asa. You're going to die in your wrath. You're not going to repent. You don't want to change. You want to hold on to your crooked perspective. You want to keep straining at gnats and swallowing camels. You want to continue it. No problem. Well, as much as you can stack up wrath, the Most High is stacking up wrath against you. Versus repenting and giving people what the Most High has given you. See, King Asa had 2 years to repent. But his damn foot disease grew out of control because he became stubborn. Because his heart grew hard. That bread petrified. That damn showbread turned into a rock. Turned into a stone. But he didn't want to change. And that's what men do. Men hold on to what they feel is justifiable. And that's why Paul said, man, you're not justified in this. You owe men what you've been given. There's no excuses for bad treatment to your brother. Because the Most High can hold your bad treatment against you. Your sin against you. So the lesson is a lot of meat, a lot of meat on the bone can be pulled off of witnessing King Asa's mentality. And there's a whole nother section of this class, but that was a mentality that we got to be aware of. There's a lot to understand coming out of this, because we could be just as guilty. We could grow just like King Asa, and my heart just gonna stiffen up. And the Most High is showing me progressively that through my sickness, through my illnesses, and through my rejection of His acceptance, the Most High is constantly showing me, I'm not with you. Time goes by, I'm not with you. Your works are not acceptable. And we grow more and more bitter. That's a mistake that we can learn of what not to do from 2 Chronicles chapter 16. So with that, that's the topic. That's why the topic of the class is clean hearts prevail, man. Keep your heart clean. Keep your bread switched out. Don't let your bread get old. Take out that leaven, that sourdough. Purge your mind from negative thoughts. Change how you treat the people around you. There's a lot to be learned, man. Otherwise, it's only going to get worse. All right, with that, we're going to go and say shalom. I just think there's reasons why we have these classes. And I think they're necessary because we have to constantly check and examine how we deal with one another as brothers, how we deal with one another as sisters, how we deal as husbands and wives and with children, how we deal as a nation of people. You know what I'm saying? We can miss the mark. We don't want to miss the mark with the Most High. We want to be on point. And so we got to check these things that could easily pop up in us, such as anger and wrath and resentment and oppression. We got to check these things. We got to examine ourselves. All right? So with that, we're going to go ahead and say shalom. And we'll see you again on Friday. The water for watching.
All right. Shalom. Shalom.
Shalom.